Hi there guys, and welcome to this week's comic book review. Today we're going to be going through 6 of this week's new comic book releases, starting with star number 1, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Part 2. Also going to be covering The Rise of Kylo Ren Part 2. We're also then going to be covering Marvel's X issue 1. We're also going to be looking at Batman 86, and also to round it all off we're looking at Miles Morales The End. Okay guys, if you like our videos, make sure that you obviously subscribe, and it really helps us if you could leave a like down below as well if you're enjoying the content. Also this week we're asking you guys if you could let us know down in the comments, what are you guys reading, what have you found enjoyable. We'd really like to know that. Alright then guys, let's get straight into this. Now just want to point out again, I'm a man down. We are missing obviously Tommy still at this moment, but next week he will be back and it will be me and Tom giving out reviews for next week's comic releases. So make sure that you do stick around, obviously subscribe, and make sure you check us out next week, because it'll be a slightly different format, probably a bit more than interesting than me jabbering on at you for however long. One thing that we are going to say is things are going to be a bit more discussional. Now this week, because Tom sent over a Word document with his reviews in, basically I know in my head what I thought about the comic books, but I'm going to basically use Tom's notes, which I'll try and bring up on the screen either here or here somewhere, and basically give you go through Tommy's views, give you my reviews as a bit of a mashup. So straight in, Tom didn't get to read the Turtles book, number 2 book, but he did manage to read the number 1 book. Now, just to talk about this series, it's obviously a mashup between Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. I've never read comics by from either of these two entities, and my experience of them was like a long time ago when I was really little. So I was a bit apprehensive, as was Tommy, looking at his notes, that normally he wouldn't go for that kind of a book, and he was a bit concerned that it might be a little bit childish. I think fair to say we're pretty much in agreement on these on this run though, across issues 1 and 2, that it's actually not as bad as you think. The artwork's quite good, it's quite detailed, it's quite unique in the sense that it's quite anime styled, nice and vibrant, but also it's like nice and easy to read, and there's a good pace to it, so you don't feel like bogged down like with no rewards. So yeah, Tom enjoyed that. He liked it, thought the first issue was really charming, a good read. Not keen on all the hi-yas and when they're fighting and stuff, but so be it. For me, obviously I've read both of the issues. I think that the setup in the first issue is very, very good. This most recent issue, I think it's very, very good again. I agree. I would rank it sort of a 7 out of 10 if I'm honest. Main reasons for being critical about it, I feel that the main plot point around why Tommy has done what he's done, the reason why he's done that, it's a little bit unclear at this moment in time why he's doing it, but for me, don't want to give away too many spoilers, it was just a bit of a tried and tested thing that I've seen before, and I was a little bit let down by that, but hey ho. But yeah, overall it's quite good, and the end of issue 2 is very, very good. The ending, like the sort of like the twist, what you get to see and what we're going to get to see hopefully moving on in the remaining I think 3 issues, will be very, very interesting. Moving on to the next review, which as Tom's obviously sent over, which is Batman 86. So new creative team. Both me and Tom, I think, agreed pretty much on this issue. Very strong first issue, did a good job of transitioning from the Tom King sort of storylines and setting up what we've got to come. We do know that James Tynion IV, whatever his name is, and Tony S. Daniel have came out and they've been openly speaking about this being a very, very dark story arc. So that's pretty cool. We do get to see Slade Wilson as is it Deadshot in this, but it was just there. He was there for a bit of action, but like he's not going to be like the big villain in this series. So it's sort of, it's one of those. And I personally enjoyed how it ended. It sort of set up the next issue and what's like, that there's more to come. There were 2 new characters introduced as well, and Tom comments on that they didn't really get a look in, to be fair, so we'll see if they pop up again in the future, but we didn't really get to know anything about them. Mr. Teeth and Gunsmith, I think, were the names, but yeah, not that good. And again, the dialogue was really good, and both me and Tom did enjoy the interaction of the characters and this sort of sense of the human feeling of Batman, obviously dealing with the loss of Alfred from the Tom King obviously arc. We did get a point in this issue that was quite poignant, really. So I won't spoil that for you, but yeah, it was good. And I agree with Tom. I think a 7 out of 10. It was a good start, and it's like, let's see that score go up and let's really smash it out of the park. Next book that I want to talk about is Star number 1. Now, Tom's rated this one 6 out of 10. We'll get straight in there. I also agree it's a 6 out of 10 book. Tom didn't know who Star was, where it came from, obviously from the Captain Marvel series, also written by Kelly Thompson. So it's pretty much just like a bit of a sideline story, just to build more around this new character who's got hold of the Reality Stone within herself and has got all these new powers, exploring those possibilities and all the rest of it. Me and Tom both agree that the art style in here was very good. Both of us picked up the J. Scott Campbell covers. I haven't got it in my hands, so I apologise for that. But yeah, Tom's obviously, if you can see on the screen there, he's saying that he's prepared for a bit of abuse for his love of Mr. Campbell. Yes, it's Tom's favourite artist. He does love Tom J. Scott Campbell, has met him and all the rest of it. So I'm not going to knock him for that, but yeah, it just makes me funny that he's put that on the note there. But yeah, decent first issue. Character development was good. I agree with that. Cover was good as well. But has it got legs? It probably will just have about enough legs for, I think, the 5-issue run that it's on, and then that will be it done. Next book, Marvel X number 1, prequel to Earth X that came out in the late 90s. Tom's rated it 8 out of 10. He enjoyed it, liked the art. It's Alex Ross, obviously, and he's looking forward to reading more. I'm on the flip side of it. Whilst I liked the new character, I think his name was David, I liked his, and I'd like to see his character development handled well, because he just seems quite a nice, endearing character, especially with some of the events that happened to him in this first comic. But yeah, I didn't feel that. I rated it about a 6 out of 10 personally, and I'm not too sure if I want to read any more, because I didn't read the original Earth X thing back in the 90s, so I feel like I'm missing something somewhere. So take that what you will. If you liked Earth X, read this. If you haven't, probably not worth picking it up. So again, another one where we do differ on is the next book is The End, Miles Morales. Yeah, it's a one-shot. It's not in continuity. Tom enjoyed it. He felt it was spot on, felt it was good story writing, good pace, all the rest of it. And I think Tom's review is probably more reflective of the fact that it's a one-shot and all the rest of it. With me, I wanted a bit more from it. So I think like Tom's put on there that he wants to see more of old man Morales, whereas me, I kind of like, I did. And this book was like, there's a lot of emotion in the fact that the closing title, like Tom says, he dies at the end of it. So you get this new character. He's just like Miles Morales, but old, in this dystopian world. And then the next thing you know, he's dead. And it was a bit much, do you know what I mean? But that's what the one shot is, and I don't often pick up these like non-continuity one shots just for this fact. So yeah, I didn't like it. I'd probably give it about a 5 or 6 out of 10, if that. The artwork was good though, but Tom really did enjoy it, so fair enough. So the only book that we've got left to talk about is The Rise of Kylo Ren. I don't want to go into too much detail with it again, other than because I am massively biased with Star Wars anyway, but this might sound way too biased. I would put it up there as a 9 out of 10. The main reason being is, as I've explained before, Star Wars comics are canon. What happens in the comics is real in the Star Wars universe that obviously Disney are creating. And yeah, this book does a really good job. It explores the relationship of like Ben Solo effectively and Snoke before he becomes Kylo, and also the young Ben Solo and Luke Skywalker. We get to see both of those dynamics coming together in this book, so I really enjoyed that. There's some really good reveals as well. Talks about, you know, how Snoke's received his injuries and who has done that to him. Talks about, and also does a lot of information, well, I say information, it reveals more about the Knights of Ren. And it's really cool, and it's this issue's sort of set around Luke and young Ben going to a Jedi temple with weirdly enough, the guy who's in the comic, who's on the spaceship, who goes to this Jedi temple, is his name I forget, but is the guy who hands over the sort of chip to Poe Dameron at the start of Force Awakens, that's got the map piece that says where Luke is on Acto. So it's that character, but like many years before, when Ben is a young boy, and that's where it sort of just fills so many gaps. It really is brilliant. Both issues, issue 1 and issue 2. If you can get a chance to read them, fully recommend it. And that's pretty much it. As I said, next up for us is over the weekend I'll be dropping a review of the film 1917, which I'm going to see on Friday night, so that'll be out on Saturday or Sunday, depends how much time I get, more likely Sunday. And then next week we will have a key issues a review or preview on Tuesday, and then Thursday Tom's back, and life is good. You've seen the picture of him. He's going to be he will be back, and we will be talking to each other as much as we can, and yeah, it'll be a very different feel from next week onwards. We just wanted to get the channel up and running, and that's why we are. You've just got me. So thanks ever so much for watching. Again, subscribe if you could, and leave a like, and obviously comment down below with what you've been reading this week and what you're enjoying. Take care, and see you next time.